Morning, everyone, or afternoon, or evening, or whenever you're watching this video. You might be cramming for test, watching this in class. Hey-yo. But for the next 3 minutes, I invite you to join me on my morning walk. And you know, I've been thinking a lot about this concept, turning the qualitative world into a quantitative world. It's a great motto, and I'm just finishing up my coffee here, but let's go for a walk and see what we see in the qualitative world. Ever since we talked about population growth, you know, it's kind of been on my mind. So I went for a walk to clear my head for the most part and appreciate the fall foliage while it's still here. But look, right there on the ground, a recap reminder, a survivorship curve in the leaves. It follows me everywhere, but you know, at the end of the day, I can't really be mad. These curves are certainly important, and well, enough of that. Back to the basics. Population growth is really accounted for by 4 things: birth, death, emigration, and immigration. And as I was walking, I got distracted a little. I was looking down at the leaves again. And there, just like bacteria in a jar, I saw exponential growth. Under optimal conditions, space and food are completely unlimited. Birth rates are high, death rates are low. Life is good. And a low population starts growing a little bit slow. This is the lag phase. And then population expands rapidly at an exponential rate. It grows and grows and grows. And eventually, the population hits the environment's carrying capacity, or how much the environment can sustain of that animal. And birth and death rates are equal. So what explains the death rate and the birth rate becoming equal? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Negative density dependent effects are when the density of an animal has a negative effect on their population growth. What does it look like if a population reaches its carrying capacity? And there, I saw a pattern, a ripple, a wobble, if you will, of the population going up and down around its carrying capacity. I was at a stable equilibrium state, psychologically and in terms of population growth. Let's look at the math underneath.
dn over dt, or the change in population time over size, or the rate of growth, is equal to the intrinsic rate of increase times the population times, then again, 1 minus n over carrying capacity. The rate of increase in a population was highest when population levels were low, and R was at its maximum as long as there was a minimum viable population. Population increase decreased as population size increased until you hit carrying capacity, and then population growth would be 0 and the population would be stable unless you went over the carrying capacity, in which case the population would shrink and the growth rate would be negative.
So things were looking up, and I was understanding population growth, and I was walking past a community garden, and the small population paradigm in the extinction vortex popped in my head, whereby when animals have a small population, they aren't able to perform the functions that they need to, whether it be reproduction, having variability, or eusocial actions. That's really sad, but luckily there's an edge case called the Allee effect. The Allee effect has a lot to do with density dependence. When a population is large, there's a positive relation between population density and the reproduction of survival of individuals, meaning that individuals have an easier time staying alive when there are more in a population. Just like honeybees, they have a colony with eusocial actions. The more that there are, the easier it is for those actions to be fulfilled. But when a population is small, there's increased difficulty of finding mates or reproducing, or basically keeping the population going. Well, I don't know about you, but I've had my fill of population growth for now. Thanks for joining me in this video about population growth.